Voters in the state of Massachusetts on Thursday filed a petition with the state to remove Donald Trump from the state's ballot, arguing that he did in fact engage in an insurrection on January 6, 2021, and therefore Section 3 of the 14th Amendment should kick in and Trump should be removed from the ballot. And when I say petition, I'm talking about legal petition, so basically a lawsuit challenging Donald Trump's eligibility in the Massachusetts ballot. The day after, by the way, the state of Illinois did the same thing. Earlier in the week, the state of Louisiana also received a challenge, so we have 3 more states added to the ever-growing list where they are challenging Donald Trump and his access to the ballot. Now, let me tell you why I don't like this one in Michigan. Now, I'm not, weighing in on the Illinois one or the Louisiana one yet, but here's my issue with the one in Michigan. And I really, it's painful for me to say this because I like this group a lot. I really do. But the one in Massachusetts, I said Michigan, I meant Massachusetts. Massachusetts is being kind of organized and pushed by the group Free Speech for People. It's a great group, a wonderful organization. They have had horrible luck with their ballot challenges for Donald Trump. They did it in Minnesota, it got swatted down. They did it in Michigan, it got swatted down, and now they're trying again in Massachusetts, and they've got a horrible track record with it. And I do think part of the issue is the way that they have written it. Like here's what it says. Well, this is what Ron Fine, the legal director of Free Speech for People, says. He says, Donald Trump violated his oath of office and incited a violent insurrection that attacked the U.S. Capitol, threatened the assassination of the vice president and congressional leaders, and disrupted the peaceful transfer of power for the first time in our nation's history. Trump is legally barred from the ballot, and election officials must follow this constitutional mandate. See, the problem I have with that is that in that statement, and that may not be what's in the actual legal filing, but in the statement, which also they could use against him in court here, you're making a lot of claims that we can't actually prove. Like Trump incited the insurrection. I believe it, but I believe it, I can't prove it. Okay? See, that's the difference. You can only say what you can prove, and you cannot prove that in a court. And based on the other 2 filings in Minnesota and Michigan, now you're going to Massachusetts. I guess we're just hitting all the M states first. This isn't good. It's just not good. But what is good about it, and again, I love Free Speech for People. I really even hate to kind of, be down on them on this, but they don't have a good track record. They're not doing well with it. But what I will say is that it is good that we have more states issuing these challenges. And here's why. Obviously, Minnesota, Michigan, and even Massachusetts, by the way, the Secretary of State's already said they're not going to kick him off the ballot. California, 4 states that have already said we're not removing him from the ballot. But the Supreme Court is going to be the one to ultimately make the decision on whether or not states even have the authority to do it. Because if that Supreme Court comes back and says, yes, you can, then suddenly all of these challenges that had been smacked down or overruled and ruled against in the courts, I should say, suddenly those can spring back to life. So while I'm not confident with this one in Massachusetts, it's actually good that it exists because that way, if the Supreme Court happens to say Trump can be removed, well, bing, bang, boom, you've got your thing ready to go. So it is a good thing that they are doing this. I'm just not confident that it's going to succeed prior to a ruling from the Supreme Court. But again, if the Supreme Court happens to rule that way, then suddenly Minnesota, Michigan, Massachusetts, California, all of those can come back into play, and those states would have the clearance. So it's good to have the framework for getting him removed from the ballot, for filing those legal challenges. I don't know how successful they're going to be, though, because so far there's been very limited success with getting Trump kicked off the ballot. Hi, everyone. This here is little Athena, and Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet. So please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.